Hey there. Hello, how do you do? My name is Harry Wetzel. Thanks for coming. It's the 80s, darling. Yes, it is. It is February 1984. It's the following Tuesday. It's the day before Margie's funeral. And I go up to the funeral home and I meet Michael there. He's got his sunglasses and his sport coat on. And we hug and we hang around out front for a while. And I want to get in there. I want to have a private moment, if I can, with Margie. So I go in there, and the viewing room is empty. Thank heavens. I go up to the casket. I put my hand on it gently. She's in her nurse's uniform, by the way. She actually looks pretty good. She was young. She was only 33, and they did a very good job. Anyhow, I say, Marjorie, such a beautiful name. I say, Margie, there's an irony here that we had this fantastic party during which we became friends. And if it wasn't for this party, you might still be here today. I want to thank you for sharing your light, for sharing your aura, for sharing the aurora that came out of you with me. I want to tell you that I'm honored to have danced your last dances with you, to share that with you, to share All Night Long and Billie Jean and Sweet Dreams Are Made of This. Honored to be there for that. I want you to know I'll cherish every moment that we shared together. I'll cherish every moment that we shared together. And I hear somebody come in the room behind me. I turn around, and it's a young woman, young 17 or so year old woman. And I saw the look on her face when she saw Margie. And you see it hit her like a thunderbolt. Oh no, this is real. You can see. So I caressed the casket gently and stepped aside. And she went right up to the casket and knelt immediately and started weeping. And I felt a little bit like an intruder. I did. So I nodded to Margie and backed out of the room. All right. The next day, the funeral. Funeral was awful. Now, don't get me wrong. I like funerals. I think they're beautiful. They're all about love, after all. They are. It proves that we're just a little tiny species of people on this little tiny ball, digging holes in the ground and chanting poetry to the sky when we say goodbye to our loved ones. We're no different from when the Neanderthals dug holes in the ground and buried their loved one with trinkets and flowers. No different at all. Little side note, if I may. Later on, years later, I had my DNA tested and I found out, yes, I am indeed 3% Neanderthal. I say that with a certain amount of pride. Yes, I'm Neanderthal. What about it? However, the thing about the funeral of a young person, and Margie was young, just 33, it's miserable. It is. And she was a young mom and she had 2 children. She had a 10-year-old daughter who was, a beautiful, intelligent diplomat full of brains and grace and respect. And her son was 12 years old and also seemed very sharp and polite. They were great kids. And so it is. It's when a funeral is for a young person, it is. It's just so much sadder. Well, after the funeral, there was a gathering at Michael and Margie's. which I could not attend because I had to get back to the booze store. Francine was holding the joint down by herself. Right, and I had to get over there. And I got a call from Steve from Michael's place, and he wanted me to bring up a case of mixed booze and wine up to the gathering. So, and to take some money from the cash register to take a taxi to come on up to Michael's place. All right. So I put together a nice mixed case of red and white wine and liquor and booze and rum and bourbon and scotch and vodka and the like, and got a nice case together. Right. I took a taxi. It was the middle of the day, middle of the week. There was no problem getting a taxi cab. So I went up to 103rd and 1st, where Margie and Michael lived. And I get out of the cab, carrying my case of booze, and I'm walking up to the building, and I'm walking through the courtyard there. The courtyard. And I look up, and I look up, and I look up. I count up 9 floors. And up there on the 9th floor, I see there's a screen flapping in the breeze. The 9th floor. That was Margie's window. That was the screen that she went through. And I looked up at the screen flapping in the breeze. And I looked all the way down to the courtyard floor. Looked up to the window again. And looked all the way down to the courtyard floor. I said, "Oh, my poor dear Margie. Who knew that I'd wind up loving her?" Well, back at the booze store, things changed rapidly after that. Michael lost his mind for a few weeks. He did. He would vanish without a trace and wouldn't answer anybody's calls. And the kids didn't even know where he was. And so Michael's dad had to step in and start helping out with the kids. And the kids would actually come to the booze store after school and hang around there until Michael's dad could get off of his job, off of his work, and come over and pick up the kids. And so I set up a little area for Yoshi and for Larry, and I set up a little area of booze boxes. I made a couple of seats and a little couple of deskies out of booze boxes so they could do their homework after school, a little corner area over here. They were really cool kids. And I told them, how fantastic their mother was. Yes. And how she had a light coming out of her and how much she loved them too. And how I was thrilled and honored to know her at all and to share and to have shared, some time with her. So, things eventually did return to this being the new normal, right? The kids coming in and Michael's dad coming in. And eventually this went on for a few weeks until Michael did come out of the woodwork again and he started showing up at work. There was a new foible though now. Now, Michael used to talk to himself out loud. He never did that before. And now he would be talking to himself and laughing to himself and giggling and mumbling. Now, while he's dusting with his wretched little feather duster. And if you saw, you might think it was kind of funny if it didn't come from such a place of deep pain. Michael told us how he would come to the booze store in the middle of the night and stand outside the window and look in the window at where Margie had her chair, her throne, and where we had that fantastic night. And she was surrounded by her 3 loyal subjects. Right. Well, Michael was coming to work regularly, mumbling to himself. Gregory's parading around the store lecturing people about quality wines or quality cheese or quality cocaine. And Francine is still the heart and soul of Vino Veritas. Also the brains too, because she knows the stock and the customers as well as she does. Steve comes around pretty regularly. He buys dinner for us, once or twice a week. He does. It's no never mind to him. This whole place is a write off. I think the whole place is actually a tax shelter for all I know. His day job is in Wall Street, for crying out loud. Anyhow, and that becomes part of the new normal. And also, Conchita has become part of the extended family. She shows up a couple of times a week, and she apparently is actually a real bookkeeper, and she's actually pretty good. The thing about Conchita is that she is infectiously likable, a delightful spirit, a wonderful individual who loved life and loved to laugh. She was a breath of fresh air whenever she came around. Yes. And also, Steve's wife, Ruthie, would come around on the weekends. And when she came around, there was no need to talk about Conchita. Now, Steve's reason for that was that Ruthie might worry that, we can't afford another employee, which sounded like malarkey to me. But anyhow, and of course, I was back in my normal routine. I had my consistently inconsistent schedule. Sometimes I'd show up in the early in the day. Sometimes I would show up in the afternoon, and I was always there pretty much every night. And whenever I'd have my deliveries, I'd be getting ready to go, and Gregory would say, Harry, keep your shoes on, Harry." So that became the new normal. Yes. Now, meanwhile, back out in New York City, out in the world, out in Manhattan, it's 1984. It's the 80s, darling, and it's 1984, and New York is in the grip of Michael Jackson mania. Yes, Michael Jackson is on the front page of the New York Post absolutely every day. Right. Every day. It's a banner news, a story about Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson had a concert. Michael Jackson had a sandwich. Michael Jackson had a headache. Michael Jackson. It cannot be overstated how much Michael Jackson was not just regular, but constant front page news. The city was obsessed with Michael Jackson. It became, how shall I put it? A little bit tiresome, actually. Yes. For a while, it seemed like, we still loved his music, but we had quite enough of him on the front page. Well, strange as it may seem, out of the blue, a new job opportunity presented itself to me. A new job opportunity. Presented itself to me, a job that hypothetically would pay me more than I was making at Vino Veritas. Yes. And I'll have to tell you about that next time, won't I? Yes. All right. Like, share, subscribe, and comment. Please do. Yes, I want to thank you for coming on this journey with me. It means a lot to me. And you can see this journey does too. And you coming with me is so much fun. I look forward to seeing you next time. All right.